Mosquera, Konaté, Skelly. What do these three players have in common? Their contracts expire next season. Marca released an article in which they claim that these three players are on the agenda of Real Madrid. And whilst I can believe that, I also think that this is potentially another example of lazy journalism. And what I mean is that it seems to be that any time a player approaches the end of their contract, they are inevitably linked with Real Madrid. And this is partly due to the fact that Real Madrid have signed a handful of players in this way over the last few years. But look at the gap in terms of quality of those players. So you had Kylian Mbappe, who was arguably the best player in the world, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's just arrived, arguably the best right back in the world. I'd probably put Achraf Hakimi in that conversation, but he's definitely high up on the list. Then you've got Antonio Rudiger, who was fresh off the back of winning the Champions League with Chelsea and easily top 3 centre-backs in the world. And when it comes to David Alaba, you've got to ignore the fact that he's a bit useless at the minute, because when we signed him, he had been a starter for Bayern Munich for the previous 10 seasons. This is a guy who won absolutely everything. Champions Leagues galore, league titles each season. He was a big deal at the time. Things change, but that's the quality that we're talking about. Now let's go back to the three names that I mentioned. Mosquera from Valencia. He's hardly pulling up trees. Yes, he's got youth on his side, but you've got to be able to offer a little bit more than that, right? And maybe he's content coming in to play the third or the fourth centre-back in the team, to spend most of the time on the bench and occasionally get minutes just to rotate so that our starters don't get injured. Maybe he could do a job against La Liga opposition. I'll give you that. Then you've got Miles Lewis Skelly. This is a player that I've talked about. I do rate him. He had an incredible season this year, but I can't get away from the fact that I am convinced that he just wants a better contract out of Arsenal. And do you really swap the season that you've had at Arsenal, the potential to make a name for yourself, for the team that you support, your team, for sitting on the bench at Real Madrid? And I say that because with Real poised to invest 50 million or thereabouts on Alvaro Carreras, Skelly would be sitting on the bench. I think that this is a situation that the agents are taking advantage of. And then finally, you've got Ibrahima Konaté, the one player who I believe could play for Real Madrid. I think he's got the level. I really rate him. My concern when it comes to Konaté is his injury record, because this is a guy that cannot keep himself fit. Every season, without fail, he spends some amount of time on the treatment table, and I am tired of players with a propensity to get injured. I would kick David Alaba and Ferland Mendy out the door yesterday if I could, if I had my preference. Do we really want to add another player of that profile to the ranks? I'm not so sure about that. And on the other hand, 2026 is also a year where William Saliba is 1 year away from the end of his contract. He is surely the guy that you are chasing, the guy who can be in charge of that defence for the next 10 years. William Saliba, Dean Howson. What a centre-back pairing that would be. 1 year away from the end of his deal. A lot can change between now and then. But if Arsenal go another season without winning trophies, he may just turn his head and we might be able to get our man. These are my thoughts regarding these players. I just think it's a little bit lazy in terms of journalism. Regardless of whether you agree with me or not, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Take care.